You know something I just don't understand? The popularity of someone like Nikocado Avocado. Now, before we get into this, for those of you who just don't know, Nikocado Avocado is a YouTube mukbanger who just sits in his apartment or his car and eats copious amounts of food while crying into the camera.
Right. Put it down. Oh, it's my finger. You got a wrench on me. You threw a wrench on me.
Now, before I lay a bunch of criticism on him or just talk about my bewilderment about his success and the things that he's decided to do as of late, I have to give him some credit. I feel like a lot of mukbangers on YouTube or just TikTok or whatever, the people who eat food in front of a camera, I think a lot of these people are fake. They're eating copious amounts of food every single day, stuff that's not necessarily healthy for you, and they're never gaining weight. They're not doing anything that you would otherwise anticipate for someone. You know, the people who eat the entire KFC menu in all in one sitting, and then the next day they're eating copious amounts of ice cream. That, to me, just never really makes sense. And it's really because a lot of these people, either on shorts or on their videos, they take big bites and then they cut away before they swallow it. Nikocado Avocado does not do that. He clearly eats everything in front of him, and he does it genuinely. That's why this guy, over the course of 4, 5, 6 years, gained 300 pounds on YouTube, and a lot of people thought, man, this guy's gonna kill himself doing this for views and likes and money and all that other stuff. It's just not healthy. But that kind of gets us to late last year and him coming out of the woodwork and saying, hey, I disappeared for a year, even though he didn't really fully disappear, which is part of the reason I'm making this video, but he kind of came out of the woodwork and said, I lost 250 pounds and look at me now, I'm going to continue to do what I was always doing.
Two steps ahead. I am always 2 steps ahead. This has been the greatest social experiment for my entire life. It's alluring, it's compelling, it's gripping to observe all these unwell, disoriented beings.
And there are just so many things I think are interesting enough to discuss when it comes to that particular rug pull that he did on his audience. Why did he decide to do it this way, as well as the mechanisms that allow him to do this, to me, are part of the reason why YouTube as a career or brand just pisses me off. I think we can take those in turn. The first being, the guy decided to literally almost disappear entirely from the platform, uploading occasionally, but essentially disappear for about a year and a half, and then came back having lost all this weight, when the vast majority of his commenting section was encouraging him to either stop doing this altogether or reverse course and show everyone how he stops eating, stops doing mukbangs, and literally transforms his body by doing workouts, eating routines, and everything in relation to that to show his transformation from 450 pounds to where he is now. And his decision was, no, I'm not going to show any of that because I guess it's not compelling enough, which to me reeks of either this was all really fake.
3.
No, I told you not to do that! 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 Why would you do that? I have to clean up all that mess! Why would you do that?
He did something in the interim to make this weight loss journey less compelling than it otherwise would be, or probably most likely of all, he made a bunch of money doing these mukbangs on YouTube. He got rich doing it, and he was able to pay someone to help him with his dietary regime, his workout routine, and everything in between, and doing all of this and showing that, yes, you're capable of losing all of this weight, but you're not doing it based solely on your motivation to do it. You're not the person going out there, figuring out what to eat, buying the right stuff, cooking the right stuff, working out on the routine that you've set for yourself and are personally motivated to do. You got rich enough to get a bunch of people to help you lose all this weight, and now you're just kind of showing it off.
People are the most messed up creatures on the entire planet. And yet I've still managed to stay 2 steps ahead.
That's my theory on this, which is annoying because it's not really an everyman situation. The guy's made millions off of YouTube. He's going to continue to try to make millions off of YouTube, but he didn't want to change anything about what made him popular because even though he likes to say he's 3 steps ahead, I feel like that was the cheapest, laziest, and most fearful option, what he did. Disappearing for as long as he did just to lose the weight off screen and not show everybody the hardship that he had to go through in order to lose that type of weight, even if he had a whole lot of people helping him. Basically, I'm saying before you want to start throwing praise at him for losing that much weight, the lack of clarity here when his entire life has been an open book for the last several years, I think kind of deserves a little bit of scrutiny and maybe less praise than what people were willing to give him when he first put the video out showing that he had lost 250 pounds. The next biggest issue I have here, and this is my issue with all of YouTube in general, is that a lot of people like to say that he disappeared off the platform entirely for like a year and a half, which is not true. He didn't post as much as he regularly would post. I don't really follow him that much, but you know, he's a dramatic figure and I would pop in his channel every now and then. And while he wasn't posting every single day on his multiple different channels, he was posting somewhat regularly on all the channels throughout that year and a half that he wasn't posting as regularly. And to me, that kind of shows the downfall of YouTube. It's an entire platform or a career structure for people where they can literally bulk record enough videos to keep themselves minorly relevant for over a year and not have to work or work on themselves in other ways, but they're kind of allowing themselves to bring in money and bring in attention even though what they're talking about is not up to date. Or it's so useless in terms of what they're talking about that there's no consideration on what could occur over the course of a year or a year and a half. That's crazy to me. I can't think of another job where that would be the reality for anybody. If anybody didn't like show up or decided to work through like everything they had to do for the next year so they can pretty much take a year and a half off, I cannot think of another job in which that would be an alternative. And frankly, even doing that on a platform like YouTube doesn't make any sense because the interaction with the fans, the interaction with your audience is the thing that keeps you involved, the thing that kind of keeps you relevant, and the thing that makes people feel like you're worth following. If you're bulk recording and putting things out over the vast majority of like months and months and months, that doesn't make any sense. And at least when it comes to Nikocado Avocado, personally, I kind of see through it. I don't like the fact that he did that. And ever since he released that video showing that he had lost all the weight off camera and having tricked everyone through like bulk recording videos, to me, that makes him look faker than he was when he was gaining all that weight and crying in front of the camera on every single video. And I don't know about you, but I've just completely stopped watching. I don't think he's relevant anymore. And it's not because he's lost a bunch of weight. It's because of the reasons that I'm talking about right now.
I feel as if I'm monitoring ants on an ant farm. One follows another, follows another,
I don't like the fact that he hid this journey from everyone when it would have been so much more profitable and interesting to see someone go through that. Even if you did have to reality TV show it and not show everyone helping you on the back end, you know, that is a little bit understandable. But seeing someone work out, watch what they're eating, hear what they have to say, everything that he could have done for that, and everyone knows that this would have been super successful, but he didn't. That's really interesting to me that he would decide not to do that, and it's part of the reasons why I just don't find him overly compelling anymore because he's doing exactly what he was doing before he lost the weight now, so who cares? And the second is, what type of platform is YouTube where you can continue to make money after having bulk recorded videos for an entire year and your audience doesn't know anything about what's going on in your own personal life or anything, especially when that is literally your brand. And I feel like there's still a lot more to talk about here when it comes to YouTube as a career for people, but those are just two of the reasons why Nikocado Avocado is not interesting to me anymore. And I want to hear, what are y'all's thoughts on this? Do you like him? Is this somebody that you've gone out and you're watching every single one of his videos? Or is he just kind of an internet abnormality type of character where he's a big villain on YouTube, but at the same time, you're just watching the downfall now that he's no longer in a spiral or in a downfall? He's lost a lot of his appeal. There's more to discuss here, but I'll leave it for the comments. Hope everyone's having a fantastic day. It's been real.